Hello, everyone, and welcome to High Top Sports Network for this WPIAL matchup non-section today between the Knoch Knights and the Central Valley Warriors. I'm Jake DeLuca, joined beside me Adam Morganti and Colton Henderson on the camera. Guys, looking forward to this game here. It seems like a lifetime ago since I've been on the mic, but finally back, and it feels good to be up here. I don't know how you guys feel, but just ready for some Week 0 football.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a few months since I've put on the headset. It's just good to definitely get back into the rhythm and announcing high school football again.
And this game was one that was supposed to be played last year, but due to COVID and, the world that we lived in last year and still kind of living in this year, but, they get it in this year. And, Adam, I know you know the time that they played last. It's been about a decade.
Yeah, the last time these two teams played each other was all the way back on November 12th, 2010 in the second round of the playoffs. And that was actually the first year that Central Valley came into existence. They beat Knoch 16-0, and then Central Valley, they went on to win the WPIAL championship 24-7 over Montour. So 2010 was the first year Central Valley was in existence. And also in their first year, they won the championship, and they beat Knoch along the way.
Not too bad. And, yeah, Central Valley, a team that is quite used to playing in the postseason. Back-to-back WPIAL championship holders. And they went to the States 2 years in a row as well, winning it last year after finishing as semifinalist in 2019. So definitely a team with a winning tradition. Knoch kind of coming in this on the opposite end of the spectrum, went winless last year. And Adam, what do you think it takes for a team like Knoch to come out here and make this game competitive against a team with such a pedigree like the Warriors?
Well, a good thing for Knoch is they have 9 starters returning on both the offensive and the defensive side on the ball, so they can build on what they did last year, even though they had no wins. So it's not like this group was a veteran group last year and they graduated a bunch of seniors and they pretty much had to start over. But the good thing for Knoch is they're returning 9 starters on both sides on the balls that gained that experience from last year, and they learned from that experience of going 0-7 that will hopefully motivate them to have a better year this year.
Yeah, nothing quite motivates you to win like losing, going all defeated, not undefeated. So two teams that had opposite ends of the spectrum last year. Of course, the Warriors going 12-0, capturing that championship, as I said moments ago. Knoch looking to get back on the right path. It's been about a decade since they've been, a team that's in playoff contention. So, of course, head coach Brandon Mowry trying to get his team back on the winning track here. And, Adam, you and I both know that they're switching up their offense this year. Moving more towards a wing T instead of what they ran last year, a triple option.
Yeah, last year was triple option. This year is the wing T. And a person that will be key in running that wing T offense, we were told by Coach Mallory that he will be the starting quarterback tonight, will be the transfer Carson Kasecki, which he was at Knoch, but he came back after he was at 2 years at North Catholic. And he will also play cornerback on defense. So not only is it a new look offense, Coach Mallory has a new toy to play with, I guess, and a new weapon to play with in this wing T offense.
Yeah, and if you are following us on Facebook, I'm sure you all have seen the interviews that we've done with the various Knoch players and, of course, Coach Mallory. But last week, there was still a competition for that quarterback job between J.J. Zabalski, and Carson Kasecki. But last week they had their scrimmage against Beaver, and I guess Carson came out on top of that competition. Now, Zabalski will still be starting. He'll be your number 1 wide receiver lined up at the X spot. So still going to be a big part of this offense. It'll be interesting to see how this Knoch Knights team looks this year. We talked about changing offenses, but also an infusion of starters returning and some young guys that bring some excitement to this year's Knights team.
Yeah, and the thing is, you mentioned about Zabalski being the number 1 receiver this year. He was the starting quarterback last year, so he didn't play any receiver. And overall, as a team, Knoch, they ran the ball way more than they passed the ball. So Knoch had a total of 63 pass attempts last season compared to 237 rushing attempts. So this is why they have week 0 games and they have all these non-conference games before you get into this conference schedule to see how the new offense works, what adjustments need to be made, and how Sobalski ends up at wide receiver. That'll be a very interesting thing to watch tonight against a elite foe in Central Valley.
Yeah, and before we cut to commercial and then have our coach interview here for this week with Knoch Knights head coach Brandon Mowry, really quick, what do you think? What are you most looking forward to, I guess, is what I want to say, from each of these teams? What are you looking forward to seeing tonight?
For Knoch, just running their new style wing T offense. They did the triple option last year, and also to see if they want to come out more balanced or if they stay in that classic wing T offense and just run it like right down your throat. So that's the biggest thing I want to see, is if they're going to be a more balanced offense or if they're as committed to the run game as they were last year. And for Central Valley, which we can talk about him a little later, I want to see what the new starting quarterback, Matt Merritt, how good he will be. He's also a linebacker. He played linebacker last year. He has received multiple D1 offers from Air Force, Army, Lehigh, Navy, and Robert Morris. So he's the new quarterback replacing Amir Dudley, who graduated last year. So I just want to see how he looks for his first game under center with Central Valley.
Yeah, and those are some pretty big shoes to fill with Dudley. He was a big contributor in the offense last year for this Central Valley team. I have his numbers here. I can find them. Yeah, Dudley last year, he accounted for nearly 1,300 passing yards and 19 total touchdowns, 16 of which through the air. So, Central Valley definitely a team that likes to ground and pound. So it'll be interesting to see how the new guy coming in here looks under center. And then one last question for you, and I guess I'll say what I'm most looking forward to. I would kind of mirror your statement there, looking forward to seeing what this Knoch Knights new offense looks like. A lot of these kids grew up playing in the wing T, so whenever Josh Schreckengost, one of our team members here on High Top Sports Network, went down and talked to them a week ago, a lot of the kids were excited about going back to their roots, kind of going back to that offense that they're so familiar with. So it'll be interesting to see how they run that against an elite defense with a lot of D1 talent on it. And as for the other side, Central Valley, I'm just looking forward to seeing what a lot of people would call the number one team in the state when it comes to 3A. They're ranked number 1 in a number of publications coming into this season. So it's going to be interesting to see that level of elite football on display here in Saxonburg tonight. But before we cut to break, I just want to ask you, player for each team that you're kind of keeping an extra eye out for tonight here, Adam.
For Central Valley, it's easy for me. I have to go with, he's number 50 on the field, the 6'3", 280-pound senior, Sean Fitzsimmons. He's already committed to playing at Pitt after this year. Last year, he led the team with 112 total tackles. He had 18 sacks and 36 tackles for loss. So if Knoch's going to want to run the ball a lot, they're going to have to double-team Fitzsimmons a lot because he's going to be a force to be reckoned with in the trenches on both sides of the ball for Central Valley. And a player I'm looking for in Knoch is Gavin McGowan. He was the team's leading rusher last year with 58 carries for 277 yards with a 4.8 average and only one touchdown. So with this new look offense, we'll see if he gets the majority of the carries. Or we also saw warming up at the running back position Keegan Frazier. So we'll see if it's going to be McGowan or both McGowan and Frazier are going to both be splitting the carry. So mainly for Central Valley, I'll be looking for Sean Fitzsimmons, and for Knoch, Gavin McGowan.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing both of those players as well. But the two guys that I have in mind for tonight is going to be for Knoch, the guy under center, Carson Kasecki. You mentioned he's a transfer from North Catholic. Played ball here for a while in his youth, and now he's coming back home to play under center for the Knights. So I want to see how he operates out there tonight. 5'10", 175-pound quarterback and cornerback. So looking forward to seeing him out there as well. On the other side, I'm looking forward to watching the starting running back, Landon Alexander, for the Warriors. He rushed for nearly 1,500 yards last season, 17 tutties on the ground. And, you might as well call him Mr. First Down because he averaged 10.9 yards per carry. He's getting a lot of looks from D1 schools right now. So, we talked about before with Fitzsimmons, already committed to Pitt. But this Warriors team is stacked with talent that we're going to see on the next level playing at a high level of competition.
Yeah, with Fitzsimmons and Alexander. Then I mentioned earlier, Merritt is also getting a look at multiple D1 schools. That's really the trio of players Central Valley, but they're also a very deep and balanced team. I mean, yes, they did lose quite a few starters from that state championship team a year ago, but they also have plenty of players that contributed back as well.
And all right, we're going to throw it over to our pregame interview. Josh Schreckengost sits down with Knoch Knights head coach Brandon Mowry. But before we go, I just want to let everybody know that High Top Sports Network is excited to broadcast Knoch Athletics this fall. And if you know someone or know a local business that is interested in advertising or sponsoring an HTSN broadcast of either Freeport, Knoch, we got Armstrong and Kiski as well, now or in the future, please contact us on our email at staff@hightopsportsnetwork.com, or you can give us a phone call at 724-824-3554. You can also find us at hightopsportsnetwork.com or on Facebook at High Top Sports and on Twitter. Our handle is at hightop_sports. So make sure you follow us on all of our social media platforms. We're going to be doing a lot of giveaways this season, partnering with Sprankles and TGIF Solutions. So make sure you follow us on Facebook, like our page, and why not throw us a follow on Twitter while you're at it if you're on there. But in the meantime, we're going to throw it over to our coach interview here with head coach Brandon Mowry. We'll be right back here on High Top Sports Network. I'm Jake DeLuca with Colton Henderson and Adam Morganti.
Protecting the things you love and how you do so is among the most important decisions you'll ever have to make. TGIF Solutions can provide you with the peace of mind by supplying answers to all of your insurance needs, whether it be home, auto, business, life, or farm coverage. Contact the team at the Shellhammer Atwood Agency today in West Katanning to be sure that you, your loved ones, and the things that matter most stay safe when it matters the most. TGIF Solutions, insurance for what matters.
Welcome to High Top Sports Network's pregame here, sponsored by Sprankles Neighborhood Market in Saxonburg. And I am with Knoch Knights varsity head football coach Brandon Mowry. Coach, a couple days away from the season opener here. How are things shaking out in camp? What guys have kind of established themselves that were maybe position battles coming in?
Yeah, we had our first scrimmage here on Saturday. Beaver Falls came up to Saxonburg. We were very pleased as a coaching staff with how everything went. Kids were playing fast and physical, so we really liked what we saw top to bottom from the old guys to the young guys. Some guys that really, kind of solidify things for us. Carson Kosecki is going to take the reins at quarterback here this week for us. J.J. Sobalski, he was playing quarterback. He's going to jump in and help us right now at the ex-receiver. So those are two kind of the big changes that we had in the past week or so here.
Excellent. Yeah, tell me a little bit more about that Beaver Falls scrimmage. We were talking a little bit off camera. You never know what you're going to get in those first scrimmages. And, guys might come out tentative, guys in new positions, afraid to make a mistake. You said you thought they were playing fast and physical. Just give me an overall assessment of that scrimmage.
Yeah, definitely. And we started actually the JV kids, the young kids, they started us out. We were on defense, and I know Coach Savannah, our defensive coordinator, was pleased. I was pleased as well. Just the way the kids, they got off the ball, they were attacking, swarming, getting hatched to the football. well. And that just carried over to when the older guys came out, the varsity group came out, and everything was fast. And obviously with any scrimmage, you always have things you want to clean up and have to fix. But for our first day, like you said, a lot of times, sometimes you get into those first scrimmage, things are tentative, guys are unsure, but we didn't have any of that on Saturday, which was really nice to see.
I want to ask you kind of a non-football related question, but it does apply. I mean, the heat this week has been atrocious. And as we were walking over here today, we were talking about just how hot it is. It's going to be hot Friday night, too. Talk to me about how these guys have been able to respond in this heat.
Yeah, the big thing, it's kind of a twofold effort. When we talk to the kids, we got to make sure they're staying hydrated. Now with school starting on Thursday, that's going to be a little bit more of a challenge, but we make sure they're doing that, getting the things that they need. In practice, they get plenty of breaks and get water and things, but we have to get acclimated to it. So we're getting after, we're playing fast and physical, and that's the big thing. When you get into game speed, it's really tough to replicate that in practice, no matter how good your scout teams are. So the big focus this week is going fast and physical, and that scout group is really doing a great job so far for us.
Excellent. Yeah, school starting on Thursday. Those guys will get a couple of days in, kind of get back to normal a little bit, and get to see their friends and stuff like that. How important do you think that is, getting in a couple days before school, or a couple days before that first game, and kind of seeing everybody, helping get pumped up?
Yeah, definitely. I think that Saxonburg's always been great, and the community's been great in support of the program, and just kind of kids getting back to see all their friends maybe that don't play football or different sports, getting to see them, getting out here Friday night. Hopefully we'll have a packed house, and the student section will be back, and they always support us, so we're looking forward to that.
Obviously a huge test. Central Valley coming in, very successful program. It's so tough to think about how everybody's going to come out in that week zero. We talked a little bit about it last week, hoping to come out, maybe steal some possessions, steal some points here and there. Has anything changed in that game plan?
No, not really. We finally got the tape of their scrimmage. They scrimmaged Montour on Saturday down at Montour, and the guys that stood out, we thought would stood out, they stood out. The young man that's going to sign at Pitt, the Fitzsimmons kid, very fast, very tough and physical. So we're going to have to try to neutralize him, whether we're running straight at him, whether we're going to try to go away from him. We're going to try to keep him off balance. Their running game's very strong. The running back's getting some Division I looks and things of that nature. So we have to be able to fly around like we did Saturday, try to contain him and get multiple hats to the ball.
Yeah, games are won and lost at the line of scrimmage. We all know that. Talk to me about how you think your lines, offensively and defensively, match up against Central Valley.
Yeah, and definitely, Central Valley definitely has some very good size, very good athletes up front, and we do give a little bit away as far as weight and height are concerned. But I think what's going to play to our strength is our guys are moving fast, and we really emphasize that defensive line, ripping, running, and making penetration and getting in the gaps. And offensively, we're trying to be fast, kicking out and blocking down. So we're going to try to neutralize that as best we can. I think we're up to the task.
We talked a little bit about staying healthy, and you guys, fingers crossed, have stayed healthy. What's the outlook for the next couple of days, practice-wise, walkthrough-wise, anything like that, to keep you guys at 100%?
Yeah, so today's Wednesday, so today's a big offensive work day for us. So when we go in, we're focusing heavily on offense, and we break down into individual periods and kind of group pass, and then we'll go to a team
network. This pregame and the game sponsored by Sprankle's Neighborhood Market in Saxonburg.
Gross Embroidery and Sign Shop is the official clother of High Top Sports Network and is a family-owned company that can handle all your custom embroidery, custom sign, and laser engraving needs. Located at 409 4th Street in downtown Fort City, Gross Embroidery and Sign Shop can create sports and career apparel to the exact specifications of your organization. Their laser engraving department can put your logo or design on glasses, tumblers, insulated cups, signs, coffee cups, and more. Call Gross Embroidery and Sign Shop at 724-763-2461 today.
Douglas Insurance Services, located in Sarver next to Freeport High School, is an independent insurance agency, which means they've made available some of their best companies for your online quick quotes. Douglas Insurance Services offers personal insurance coverages to their clients in Pennsylvania, including individual annuities, boat and watercraft, auto, condo, and flood insurance. Call them today at 1-800-722-9990. Douglas Insurance Services, a proud sponsor of Freeport Athletics.
And welcome back, everyone, to High Top Sports Network. I'm Jake DeLuca, bringing you the action here tonight from Saxonburg. Alongside me is Adam Morganti and Colton Henderson on the camera controls. As we look over at the clock, only 6 minutes and 15 seconds until opening kickoff. As you can see, out there now is the marching band preparing to sing the national anthem and alma mater, I believe. But I hope you all enjoyed that interview with Coach Mowry. Very insightful look at what to expect from his team out there tonight against the Central Valley Warriors. While we have a second here, let's talk a little bit more about both of these teams. Of course, we'll pause for the national anthem whenever that time is. Oh, they already did it. Okay. Well, that solves that. So they're just chilling out there now. But real quick, let's talk about both of these teams. We mentioned before the break that Knoch went winless last season, 0-7 overall on the opposite end of that spectrum. Central Valley went 12-0, won the WPIAL championship for the second time in as many years, and then won the state championship after being runners-up the previous year. So two teams, like I said, on the opposite ends of the spectrum as the Knights prepare to take the field here. It's finally starting to feel real, Adam. Week 0 in the WPIAL. And high school football all around, really. Overhead announcer announcing the players as they march out. Announcing the defense first here, would appear. Overhead announcer just mentioned Jake Murphy. He's going to be a guy to look out for. Put on a ton of muscle in the offseason. Comes in at 6'1", 220 pounds. Just a bruiser at tight end and linebacker for these Knoch Knights. Keegan Frazier, the last Knight announced in this sequence here. And there they go, storming out of the court, or out of the Knoch Knights helmet. And the first run through the banner of the season. It is time for high school football here in Pennsylvania and, of course, on High Top Sports Network.
Now, Jake, out of all my years watching high school football, shooting highlights for high school football, and announcing high school football, I've never seen them do starting introductions like that before the whole team ran out, because this is my first time being at a game at Knoch High School, and it's a very, very great touch that they do here for these players.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, these are the moments that you remember, you know, for the rest of your life, going out there, especially if you're a senior, you know, your last first home game. It always kind of hits differently. Now the Warriors taking to their side. And you got to love those baby blues, those baby blue helmets, kind of reminiscent of UNC.
Yeah, it's honestly a sharp look with the baby blue helmets and then the navy blue pants. And I think even their numbers are a little bit different shade of blue, or they match the pants, so it's a very sharp-looking color scheme for Central Valley and Knoch. They're in the blue and gold, navy blue jerseys, gold numbers, gold pants, and they have a gold trim on the shoulders of the jerseys. So really both teams with sharp-looking uniforms.
Yeah, if this was a fashion contest, I'd say it would be neck and neck here, as both of those uniforms certainly easy on the eyes down there on the field. And another thing, you know, we kind of talked about this before the game, Adam, is the numbers pop on the jerseys too. They're not hard to see, so that'll help us out here up in the booth a little bit. Yeah, if you were listening to the interview with head coach Brandon Mowry of the Knoch Knights, you heard their first scrimmage last Saturday was against Beaver Falls, and he was pretty pleased with what he saw. He said, you know, the kids were playing tough and physical, so they're going to have to come out and play as tough and as physical football as they maybe ever had against this type of Warriors team. And a traditional moment here with the captains meeting at the 50-yard line. We'll get to see who will receive the ball to start this game. Also another sound that we didn't hear a lot of. Not every game last year had the marching band, at least not both the home and away marching bands. If they did, it was the home team. But today, Central Valley, they bring out their marching band. Knoch, of course, with their marching band. And, you know, it just feels like we're back to it, you know. Fans in the stands, Friday night lights. Here we go.
Yeah, really capacity crowd on the home side, Knoch side, and a pretty good crowd for Central Valley. Those folks making a long trip to Saxonburg. Really a excellent crowd for the first Friday of high school football as Central Valley's ready to kick it away to the Knoch Knights.
Kicking off for the Warriors will be number 18, Serafino DeSantis. Kicked it at a 90% clip on extra points last year. No field goal attempts, though. So whenever these Warriors get close, they're looking to punch it in, and the opening kickoff is out there. That one received and then dropped out of bounds by sophomore Riley Charles. And the Knights will start right around the 20-yard line here, and you know, if that's any indication of how this is going to go, you don't want to start off the first play of the game with a fumble there, Adam.
No, yeah, I mean, luckily it landed out of bounds. It looked like that was a very smart kickoff too, because sometimes you get those kickoffs in high school where it lands on the sideline, and sometimes the receiving team lets it go, thinks it goes out of bounds, but it doesn't. But fortunately for Knoch, it took a lucky bounce after the fumble.
Now a look at this new look Knights offense. One wide receiver out wide. That is number 4, Devin Whiteacre, and that first play stuffed. Looks like maybe a yard behind the line of scrimmage or right back to it. Now they moved the stick up a little bit, but that run stifled immediately. That'll take us to second down, 10 yards to go. 30 seconds already ticked away off the game clock here. Kaseki gets the snap, hands it off on the jet sweep play there. That run by Xavier Johnson. And that's a young guy that a lot of people on the Knox coaching staff are looking forward to see. You know, he's a young guy. He's only a sophomore. Has the measurement, 6'1", 165, fast, athletic. So he's definitely a player to look out for here in the coming years at Knoch.
Yeah, Jack Bible made the tackle for Central Valley really right in the backfield as soon as Johnson got the carry. Not much of a chance for Johnson to get any running room. That set up a 3rd and 15 for Knoch.
Kaseki, he'll keep it himself here and trying to find a hole. He finds a small gap but swallowed up right away. That time it looked to be number 50, Sean Fitzsimmons, and that's a name we're going to be hearing a lot tonight here, Adam.
Yeah, like I mentioned pregame, if you listen to us, he led the team with 112 tackles. He had 18 sacks and 36 tackles for loss. Looks like that wasn't a tackle for loss as there was just no gain as it was 3rd and 15 outs, 4th 15, but a great start for this Central Valley defense.
Punting with their back against their own goal line. A nice punt. That one will be taken at the 45-yard line. Have some space. Does the Warriors runner there. That is number 23, Landon Alexander. Another name we're going to be hearing a lot tonight. Rushed for nearly 1,500 yards a season ago and 17 rushing touchdowns. Showed off the speed there on the return.
Yeah, and you mentioned also he's pretty much a walking first down. He averaged almost 11 yards per carry, and he also averaged a little over 120 yards per game. So definitely Alexander's the workhorse for Central Valley in this running game.
And now we get to see the quarterback, Matt Merritt. That play bumbled. Running with it is Merritt, and he'll be taken down. Pursuing him on the play that time is Alex Cotton. So both of these teams with a fumble, neither of them losing said fumble. But, that's kind of what you expect in week 0, Adam. Just kind of some loose play to start off. Some of these teams scrimmaged a week ago, but a lot of this is, their first looks at some opposing players. And that run taken once again by Alexander, dragging Knights defenders with him along the way. And that will take us to 3rd down and a yard to go. Matt Merritt in the gun, hands it off to Alexander. And Freeport's defense just swarming all over the ball carrier there. We'll see where they spot the ball, but that one's going to be awfully close.
Yeah, it looks like he only got 1 yard. Needed the 12-yard line. Looks like they're marking about the 13, bring up 4th and 1. And looks like quarterback Maris can stay on the field. So real big play early on in this non-conference game for the Knoch Knights defense.
I mentioned earlier, they don't kick field goals. This will be Alexander with the brutal stiff arm. He rounds the corner and marches into the end zone. So the Warriors didn't take long to strike first with 8 minutes and 12 seconds left on the clock here in quarter number 1. Central Valley scores the first touchdown of this game. Landon Alexander scampering to the end zone.
Yeah, it looked like Knoch there. They expected that run to go up the middle. They had the middle clogged up because there was no one outside for Alexander. It was pretty much just an easy walking touchdown for him.
DeSantis with the extra point attempt. That one up and good. So now a 7-0 lead here for the Warriors. A 3-and-out for the Knoch Knights, forcing a punt at their own goal line. A nice return by Landon Alexander, and really, that was just Alexander's show on that drive. I mean, he had the return, setting them up at around the 35. Then he just took 3 carries, converted over on 4th down for a touchdown.
Yeah, that first play was kind of a fumbled snap, so broken play by Central Valley, and then Alexander got a good gain on 2nd down to make it a 3rd and 2. But then the Knoch defense, they stepped up to force the 4th and 1. But like I said earlier, the Knoch pretty much had the middle covered up, and the outside was wide open. So Alexander, being the experienced running back that he is, took advantage of that and was able to walk in the end zone. Alexander, the 6'1", 190-pound senior. And we'll be calling his name a lot tonight, that's for sure, for the Central Valley offense.
Yeah, if that first drive was any indication of what's to come, you're going to hear his name a lot tonight. He was the only player that got them positive yards on that drive. DeSantis' kick, that one will bounce. It'll take a bounce towards Central Valley, and I think that the Warriors have this. It's not too often you see a kickoff result in a play like that. What a kick by DeSantis to kind of allow his speedsters running down the field to get there and contest it, and not only contest it, but come away with the ball. I mean, he met the receiver there, or the return man there, right as he was about to catch it, just took it away.
Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, Central Valley had their first kickoff right on the sideline as Central Valley's calling, or Knox calling a timeout, but Central Valley on their first kickoff, they tried to have that kick towards the sideline. Knoch was able to field it on the fly, even though I believe it was Alexander, he muffed the fielding error. But like I said, that's that hard thing where you judge where, it looks like it's going to go out of bounds, so I'm going to let it go. So you start the drive at the 35-yard line. But that time, that took a friendly bounce, and it didn't go out of bounds. Just a very good, I guess, if you want to call it an onside kick, perfectly executed onside kick. And I guess for those of you guys watching the game that isn't familiar with the concept of week 0, so the WPIAL implemented this rule a few years ago where instead of teams having a second scrimmage, so everyone scrimmaged last week, and you can either have a second scrimmage or a non-conference game that counts for the records. Obviously, it doesn't matter in like the conference or the playoff aspects, but you're not going to see every team across the WPAL do this. But as you can see here, it's a week 0 game instead of a second scrimmage. But sometimes teams want to do the second scrimmage, but other times they want just one scrimmage and an extra non-conference game. So that's really what week 0 is.
Well put, Adam. This will leave Central Valley with a 1st and 10 from the 26 after the turnover. Fake handoff, that time by Merritt. He throws it down the field, had a guy, but just overthrew him slightly. Trying to see who the intended receiver was on that play. It looks like it's number 21, De Niro Simpson. That'll set up a 2nd down and 10 yards to go here for the visiting Warriors.
Yeah, first pass attempt there for Central Valley as they just had all run plays on the opening drive.
Handoff. Alexander taken down behind the line, and I got to tell you, these first 2 drives, the defense for Knoch, they look hungry, they look physical, and they've been able to stuff Alexander a couple of times here behind the line of scrimmage.
There is a flag, though, right in front of the Knoch bench.
The officials going over to talk to Coach Mowry on the sidelines. We'll see which way this one's going.
Looked like an illegal formation penalty against Central Valley.
Looks like the ball is going to be placed on the 32-yard line, setting up for a 3rd down and 16. Merritt in the gun, 2 wide receivers on the near side of your screen, 1 up top. Merritt dropping back, looking downfield, airs it out over the middle. He has his man, that's Simpson. Simpson breaking tackles in stride on his way to the end zone, And with 7:24 left in the second quarter, it's the Warriors now with a 13-0 lead. Oh, they ran for a touchdown. They passed for a touchdown. Adam, so far these Warriors showing some versatility in the offense.
Yeah, and that was on a 3rd and 16 too. On the first play of that drive, Merritt did play action and had Simpson overthrew him, but that time he made no mistake and threw that pass right on the money for their second touchdown of the game.
And that will bring the kicker, DeSantis. Well, it did bring him to the field, but we're going to have to wait to see the result of the extra point attempt here as flags are down on the field. A little bit of laundry early on here in the first quarter. 2 penalties, both of them on the Warriors. And those are simple week 0 mistakes, you know. But DeSantis will line up now here, taking the kick from the 15. Looked like Kaseki almost got there for a second, but that one will be up and good. Now, we mentioned earlier in the broadcast during the pregame, DeSantis had a 90% conversion rate on extra points. Didn't kick a field goal. That's because the Warriors often would just score instead of settling for a field goal. But DeSantis, one of the best in the biz.
And it wouldn't surprise me at all if DeSantis tries again that same onside kick style we saw at the first kickoff. Then we saw Central Valley recover it to lead to their second touchdown of the game. So I guess if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So we'll see if DeSantis does that same style kick. But the first 2 kicks were to the far sideline towards the Central Valley sideline. So maybe he'll switch it up and go towards the near side.
Yeah, great point there, Adam. Both of those kicks kind of pooched towards that far sideline. The first one resulted in a fumble out of bounds. The second one, a turnover. So whatever DeSantis is doing, it's working. DeSantis with the kickoff here. That one heading towards the far sideline. That time received, and now a head of steam that time. Looked like that was Keegan Frazier, I want to say, number 5, down there on the field for the Knights on the return. And that'll set them up with their best starting field position of the game. I mean, this their second drive. Their first one, they were pinned inside their own red zone.
Yeah, their first drive was a 3-and-out where they were trying to establish a run game, but Central Valley was all over it with Fitzsimmons and Bible making key tackles pretty much right at the line of scrimmage, and Bible's tackle was for a loss.
We'll see if this Knights offense can get going. Kaseki awaiting the snap. Man in motion, that is Xavier Johnson. That run once more stuffed behind the line. Looks like a loss of about 2 yards on the play. Again, Bible with the tackle, so he's been flying around the field today.
Yeah, his second tackle for loss, as Fitzsimmons led the team last year in tackle for loss, but Bible already has, I know it's the second defensive series for Central Valley, but he has early lead for them in the tackle for loss department, 1 on each drive so far.
Clock continues to wane away. 6 minutes and 42 seconds remain in the opening quarter. Kaseki waits for the snap, hands it off up the middle. That snap bobbled, or that handoff bobbled rather. Diving on top of it is a mass of players, and we'll see who comes up with it at the bottom of the pile. As I'm sure everybody knows, it's anybody's guess when the football's out and there's a pile. Looks like they're going to give it to Knoch here, and that'll force a 3rd down. Looks like they backed up a couple more yards. We'll call it 3rd down and 14 here.
Yeah, it looked like the freshman guard, Wyatt Foster, recovered the fumble. Heads-up play. It looked like it was kind of a jet sweep, just the timing was off on that play, but Knoch fortunate to get that ball back.
The Knights looking for their first down of the afternoon. Kaseki looking to throw for the first time. Just a quick screen pass, that time over to Johnson, and Johnson will be wrapped up and tackled right along the 35-yard line, getting right about to the original line of scrimmage. But that'll bring us now to 4th down and 10, and I would be shocked if they didn't punt it here. I believe that's Marcus Lawson, number 1, back to receive the kick here for the Warriors. And a flag. Looks like some movement along the line there. I think they might have gotten Knoch jumping a little early.
Yeah, one thing you don't want to do if you're Knoch, as they did in these first 2 drives, when you're facing the number 1 ranked team in Class 3A, you don't want to get in these 3rd and long situations, because if you get in 3rd and long against a good team like Central Valley, you're just not setting yourself up for success at all.
And the punt is away. Getting that one off is Brendan Tristani. That one will go out of bounds, and a flag is down on the play, so we'll wait to see the officials' call here. .450 left in the first quarter. Heading off the field for Knoch is freshman Wyatt Foster. Well, it's been perfection on offense so far for the Warriors. 2 drives, 2 scores.
This will be a holding penalty against Central Valley that will knock them 10 yards back, and this is their 3rd drive, and this is their first time that Central Valley has started in its own territory. First drive they started at the Knoch 19, which resulted in an Alexander 13-yard rushing touchdown. Their second drive, they started at the Knoch 26, which resulted in a Simpson 32-yard reception, but this time they're starting at the 31-yard line.
Like you said, 1st and 10 from the 31. Merritt in the gun, gets the snap, drops back to pass. He's under pressure, steps up in the pocket, breaks a couple sacks, and then completes a pass right there to Donovan Jones, and he has room to run. Look at the speed on Jones. Jones with the cutback towards the far sideline, and he will scamper in. One play, 69-yard touchdown from Merritt to Jones. Central Valley putting on an offensive clinic here in the first quarter.
Yeah, it's looking like Knoch has been able to get some pressure on Merritt and even in the backfield early on in this game, but Merritt did a great job of extending the play, and Merritt stepped up in the pocket, and Jones was just wide open in the middle field. No one was really covering him, and he was able to just do the rest himself. So we have another flag here, Jake, as it seems like it's Flag Day here in Saxonburg.
Yeah, they've all gone, correct me if I'm mistaken, but all these flags have gone on. No, never mind. There was that one false start by Knoch, but the majority of these flags coming on the Central Valley side hasn't inhibited them at all, but definitely something that you don't want to see continue going down the line in the season. But of course, you get that first game, you get those first game jitters. You're ready to go out there. You just want to hit something. You want to get off the snap and make a play. It's an exciting time, week 0. DeSantis trying to go 3 for 3 on field goal attempts. And that one tried and true once again. So DeSantis will prepare to kick the ball off here for Knoch. And the one positive here is, each time Knoch has gotten the ball, they've only been twice, but started in better field position each of the next time, the second time, far better field position, was able to return that kick to about their own 40.
Yeah, they did a much better job of returning that funky kickoff compared to the first 2 times, and they were able to get a good return out of it too to give them decent field position. But again, with DeSantis, expect that same style kick again to that far sideline. It's pretty much been in the same area around the 20, 25-yard line every time so far.
Yeah, well put, Adam. I mean, he's just able to put it on that spot every time. Definitely something he's got to practice, you'd think. And the practice has paid off as it has led to a fumble and a turnover on kickoffs here. We'll see what the Knights can do here as DeSantis boots this one away. Frazier looked like he was going to grab it, but instead coming up for it, I believe that was the sophomore Xavier Johnson. He gets the ball out to about the 23-yard line, and that's where the Knights will set up shop. Junior Jake Murphy trotting onto the field. The big tight end and linebacker for the Knights. Knoch searching for that first down of the game here. Kaseki waiting for the snap. Frazier on his side. Hand off to Frazier. He breaks a tackle. He has a little bit of room, but right away just taken down by the ankles. That looked to me to be number 17, John Peterson for Central Valley on the tackle.
I mentioned the disparity in running to passing selection last year for this Knoch offense, and really the same has been eminent here as they've really only thrown the ball once on that screen on that 3rd and long, and we've been hearing about this wing T offense, but pretty much every time Kaseki has been in the shotgun the whole game, sometimes with him by himself in the backfield. So maybe they're waiting to do the wing T offense for another time. But yeah, Kaseki, he's been in the gun the whole game.
Well, Kaseki on the sideline now. That'll bring on J.J. Zabalski. I would imagine we're going to see him at the quarterback position here. Indeed we will. So it'll be the two seniors, Zabalski, and Frazier. Low snap, but handed off there to Frazier. He cuts one way, cuts back the other way, and falls forward. So just a gain of a yard there, if that. That'll bring up 3rd down, or no, actually a 3-yard gain. I stand corrected. 3rd down and 6 here for the Knoch Knights.
Sobolski last year, he was a starting quarterback for Knoch. He had 31 completions on 57 attempts, good for a 54.4 completion percentage with 407 yards passing, 1 touchdown, and 5 interceptions. And Knoch now in 3rd and medium after being in 3rd and long the first 2 drives.
Zabalski gets the snap, scrambles out to the near sideline, and then taken down on the play. Making the sack there looked to be Dylan Chimele. Or actually, number 53, Jackson Tanya. Not sure if that was a designed quarterback run, but either way, blown up immediately by Tanya. That'll set us up with a 4th down and 14 to go with 2.5 ticks left on the clock in the first quarter and another flag. And it looks like it's going against the Knights. Not really a position where you can afford to give up any ground on 4th down.
No, I didn't see, Jake, what happened to Kaseki on the field, but he's now getting looked at by the trainer and looking like they're putting some ice or something on his face on the sideline. So something to keep in mind on the field, be out there for Knoch on its next offensive possession.
And that punt dropped for a second, but picking it up and getting some positive yardage that time is Javen Thompson. And Thompson will be rustled down to the ground right around the Knights' 45-yard line. So once again, starting in Knoch territory are the Warriors.
Yeah, really good job by the Knoch special teams coverage unit to get down there right away. And Thompson, he had a little bobble, but he also did a good job to get some yards out of it. Yeah, the Knoch special teams unit was right there as soon as he picked up the ball.
Merritt gets the snap, tosses it outside. That is going to be the senior running back, Alexander, and Alexander gets taken down at the play behind the line. They're going to mark him down for a loss of 5 at the 50.
Yeah, great play there by Knoch. Looked like that was and it was a great play by, it looked like Bible blocked him right into the run as he was blocking, and he was able to slip out of the block for a 5-yard loss, the best play for the Knoch defense by far in this game.
Second down, 15 to go. Merritt with the handoff. That time going to Rylan Jeter. And Jeter taken down, looks like a yard shy of the original line of scrimmage. So mark him down. That'll bring up now a 3rd down and 11 yards to go.
Well, the last time, Jake, Central Valley had a 3rd and long, it was a 69-yard touchdown reception by Donovan Jones. So Knoch had them right where they did last time, and we'll see if Knoch will be able to execute on defense on this other 3rd and long situation. But that's what you want to continue to do with Central Valley, force them to 3rd and long.
Yeah, new quarterback in. I thought that was still Matt Merritt. It's Antoine Johnson. Johnson with room to run. We'll see where they mark him down at. Went out of bounds right along that 1st down marker. Looks like they're going to put them at about a 4th and 1 here.
Yeah, and Johnson on a play looked like he was not looking to pass at all. That was just a design run. 2nd, 4th down of the night there for Central Valley.
And a handoff up the middle. That's going to get across that 1st down line on the carry by Javen Thompson. A group of Knoch defenders there to bring him down, but too little too late, as that is another 1st down here for the defending state champs. Time ticking off the clock here, 20 seconds to go in the 1st quarter. Play clock at 16, so they will have to get a playoff before the end of the quarter. Johnson scrambling and will be taken down. Ripped down for a big loss by Alex Cotton. But wait, I see some laundry on the field, a yellow flag down at about the 49-yard line.
Yeah, it looked like he took him down in the neck area, so maybe possible horse collar call here. He tackled him from behind.
Well, the referees converging here. One official going over to the Knoch sideline to explain the call, still waiting on the spot. 3 referees huddled at the 50-yard line. With 3.2 ticks left on the clock here in the opening quarter. And now it looks like Merritt back out there for Johnson at quarterback. So, with 21 point, and they're going to call the penalty. Yeah, the penalty, I think you hit the nail on the head there, Adam, with your prediction there. So that'll turn a big loss into a new 1st down for the Warriors. The clock stopped at 3.2 seconds, so they'll have time to get one more play off. Oh, no, they started the clock once again, and that will do it here for the 1st quarter. 21-0, Warriors lead it. Adam, what are your thoughts of that 1st quarter? It looked like Central Valley could really get it done running, passing, and defensively, too. I don't think they allowed more than 5 yards in that 1st quarter.
Yeah, Knoch with no 1st downs, mostly being in 3rd and long situations, and Knoch, their defense is held up pretty well on 1st and 2nd downs, and even forcing a couple third and longs, and really that's where Central Valley is winning this game. The first touchdown for Central Valley was on a 13-yard rushing touchdown by Landon Alexander. That was on a 4th and 1. And their second touchdown was on a 3rd and 16 to Donovan Jones, where the Knoch defensive line got pressure on Merritt, but he made a great play and stepped up and found him wide open in midfield. So really it's come down to how Central Valley is playing on these 3rd and 4th downs, because the Knoch defense has held its own on 1st and 2nd downs, but really Central Valley, where they're beating Knoch, is on 3rd and 4th downs.
Yeah, well put. They had 2 4th down conversions in that first quarter, did Central Valley. I'm sure they'll be looking for more of that. And I mean, this is just kind of what you expect from a team of that caliber. You know, Central Valley, back-to-back WPIAL champions, been in the state championship game back-to-back years, just winning it last year before falling short the year prior. So, you know, they live up to their pedigree in every way, offensively and defensively. So it'll be 1st down and 12, they're going to say. Murphy with the throw and the interception, taken away by Keegan Fraser. And you talk about an opportunistic play on defense to get you kind of back into this game. Turn Uncle Mo onto the other side of the couch. Get the momentum coming back on your side. A big play like that will do a little bit of work towards that.
Yeah, great play there by Frazier. Looked like that was a little bit of a quick slant route, and Frazier just jumped the route perfectly. And great stand here by the Knoch defense.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting. I want to talk, too, our cameraman extraordinaire, Colton Henderson, mentioning, you know, Matt Merritt back in the game, throwing a pick. You know, they took Antoine Johnson out after a couple plays, went the wrong way. But, you know, that give credit to Knoch's defense. You know, they're playing tough out there today.
Yeah, and Fitzsimmons looked like that was in on that tackle for loss. So he gets his first tackle for loss. Only 35 more to go to tie him for how many tackle for losses he had last season.
You got to start at 1.
Yeah, and Kosecki is back in there after he missed the last series he was getting attended to on the sidelines by the Knoch training staff.
Good to see Kosecki back out there, the junior signal caller here for the Knights. Man in motion, that's Johnson. Bobbled. He's able to keep a hold of it, though. Oh, that was a dangerous play that time by Xavier Johnson, but good hand-eye coordination made him able to keep a hold of that ball, but that was a dangerous play.
Yeah, and he got 1 yard out of that. Jeter was there on the tackle. And again, Knox got into this 3rd and long. Their first 2 drives there were 3rd and long. Last drive they were really kind of 3rd and medium. But, yeah, when you face a team as good as Central Valley, you don't want to get in 3rd and longs like Knoch is doing.
It's tough to break through that defensive front for Central Valley, led by Fitzsimmons. You know, we mentioned earlier a Pitt commit already. And those numbers that you brought up from the defensive tackle position are just freaky numbers. Johnson in motion. Whistle blown. So they'll repeat 3rd down, and the offense will go in the wrong direction.
Yeah, that'll be delay a game call against Knoch. And you mentioned how good the defensive front of Central Valley is. Last year, they only allowed 9.8 points per game, this defense. Very solid group.
Yeah, that's a pretty impressive number there. And ripped down right away is Kosecki, that time making the tackle. Who else would it be? Sean Fitzsimmons. They'll give him a yard on the play, but yet another 3 and out here for this Knights offense. Back to punt this one away will be Brendan Tristani. Tristani boots this one away. Backpedaling is the return man. That is number 23, Landon Alexander. Alexander bouncing off tackles, switching directions. A couple flags down on the field. Alexander up the far sideline, inside the 20, breaks a tackle, dragging defenders on his back before finally being taken down at the 12-yard line. But there is a 3 flags down on the play after it looked like J.J. Sobalski got knocked pretty good there.
Yeah, I could definitely tell at the Central Valley 40-yard line, Sobalski, they're going to call a block in the back for that first one, as that was very obvious right there as Alexander was past him, and he just hit him from behind. So this one's going to come back.
Yeah, we hope Sobalski is all right as he walks towards the bench to take a seat.
Yeah, Jake, a lot of flags in this first game. I guess you'd have to expect that in a Week 0 game.
Yeah, the nerves, the jitters, they're just wanting to go out there and crack some skulls. It all kind of compiles itself into, the first week of action. You're so used to going out there and practicing against your own teammates. You relish for that first game where you can go out there and enforce your will on somebody else. So that will be a big-time penalty. That return got Alexander and the Warriors down to about the 12-yard line in Knoch territory. Instead, they will now be starting off at the 28 in their own territory, at their own 28, after that block in the back. Handoff up the middle, and a big hole now. Going is number 10. That's Fitzsimmons, Brett Fitzsimmons, up the sideline. Johnson diving for the tackle, unable to make it, and Fitzsimmons will score the touchdown. Brett Fitzsimmons goes 72 yards for the touchdown. And, we were looking forward to seeing Alexander run the ball today, but Brett Fitzsimmons was their second leading rusher on this Warriors team last year. He also averaged 10.9 yards per clip, and we just saw the explosiveness right there out of the backfield. And a great block down the field, too. I believe that was Donovan Jones with the block to free Fitzsimmons that extra 10 yards. That'll bring out the Santies for the kick, and once again, that one tried and true. So that'll be a 28-0 lead here for the visiting Warriors. And I got to say, Adam, the Warriors just living up to all expectations here in Week 1. Week 0, technically.
Yeah, I mean, the last drive where they started in its own territory, Mayer threw an interception to Keegan Frazier, but Central Valley didn't waste any time on that drive, scoring on the very first play. And like I said earlier, the Knoch defense was holding its own on really first and second down, and where Central Valley was beating them on third and fourth down, but you really can't get much better than that on a first down play right there. So it's pretty much a run right up the middle, just great vision there by Fitzsimmons as he cut back, zigging, zagging up the field, and pretty much went untouched for the touchdown.
Yeah, I got a quick score update for all the people at home. Josh Schreckengoss down at the Kiski-Butler game. It's scoreless after one quarter. So we'll have more scoring updates as we go on throughout the day. 8:56 left here in the second quarter. DeSantis teeing that ball up, ready to boot it away, as Knoch continues to try and get that offense going. They've just been shut down at every corner by this Warriors team. And, a lot of coaches, they'll use this Week 0 game because it's a non-conference game as kind of a measuring stick as that kick goes out of bounds. So Knoch will start with some pretty good field position with 8:56 left to go. But, Adam, a lot of these coaches, they use this first week as kind of a feeling out process. Where do they stack up against their competition? I mean, there's not a much better measuring stick than the defending state champions. And on defense, I got to think that Coach Mallory's got to be pretty happy with some of the plays that he's seen out there today. Knoch's been able to get into the backfield a couple of times and really blow some plays up. Offensively, they might have some work to do, but defensively, I think they can feel pretty all right about this first half.
Yeah, and you say how really measuring stick for competition, you really can't get much better competition in Central Valley. Next week, they have another tough competition against Freeport where they're ranked 5th in 3A. Another non-conference game.
Kosecki with the handoff to Johnson, and he is just stuffed right away, maybe getting a yard on the play. But that'll bring us to a 2nd down and 9 on the carry from the sophomore Xavier Johnson. Marching out onto the field here for Knoch is Luke Goodlin. The offensive line gets set at the line of scrimmage. One wide receiver out at the top of your screen. That is Devin Whitaker. And a whistle before the snap, as I believe the official saw some movement up front. And we'll wait to see what the official call is, but it looks like Knoch already knows it. They're moving back. False start will be the call, and that will bring up 2nd down and 14 to go. So another long drive to that 1st down marker. Checking.
Looks like no score between Freeport and Armstrong as they are going towards near the end of the first quarter.
Kosecki will keep this one himself, trying to get around blockers, trying to get to the edge, but that play blown up by Javen Thompson. That'll bring us to 3rd down and 17 yards to go here for the Knights. Still looking for that first down. Really unable to get much positive yardage so far in this one. That's kind of what happens whenever you got a guy like Sean Fitzsimmons anchoring your defense in the middle of that defensive line. So on 3rd and 16, the play clock running down. It's at 0, but they'll let them get the snap off here. Kosecki with the quick move, has some space, has some open field to run with, and the most yards on a play so far from Knoch coming from the junior quarterback Carson Kosecki.
Yeah, great job to show his speed and elusiveness as Fitzsimmons was once again in the backfield, but a rare missed tackle from him, but wasn't enough as he picked up 10 yards to make it a 4th and 6, and that Knoch punting special team punt coverage is back on the field.
Running onto the field to return this kick will be Landon Alexander for the Warriors. It looks like before we get to the next play, we will have a timeout. So while we have a moment, we'd just like to thank a couple of people, like Sprankle's Neighborhood Market. Sprankle's Neighborhood Market is located at 270 West Water Street in Saxonburg, and they have been making quality meat a family tradition since 1999. Sprankle's takes pride in delivering the best prices around while providing the best overall value for their customers. By offering the widest range of items, the highest quality of freshness, the most organized and cleanest shopping environment, and the friendliest associates. Make sure to visit SpranklesOktoberfest.com for tickets to the festival, which runs September 10th to the 12th. And remember to always check out Sprankle's Facebook page to hashtag Save on Meat. Yeah, if you're going down to Oktoberfest, there's a very high possibility that you'll run into the high top guys down there. So if you see us at Oktoberfest here on the 10th through 12th, make sure you say hey. 4th down, 6 yards to go. The Knights electing to punt this ball away. Back deep to get it away is Brendan Tristani. He gets that one off to Alexander. Catching that one, Murphy trying to track him down, but Alexander's speed too much. Another flag down as Alexander cuts upfield. Only has one man to beat, and he will cut it back towards the far sideline and into the end zone, but I have a feeling that this one's going to be coming back. I think they might call a hold on this.
Yeah, last time Alexander had a punt return, it was down to the Knoch 12-yard line. It was brought back by a block in the back where Central Valley started at its own 29-yard line.
The referee's discussing, but I can't see how this is anything other than a holding.
Yup.
So that's back-to-back punt returns just taken off the board. There's nobody more disappointed about that than Alexander, having to do all that running just for the play to be called back.
But again, that didn't matter for Central Valley on its last drive because they scored on the first play, a 72-yard run by Brett Fitzsimmons.
Very true. Yeah, they've had 2 plays of that variety. One play drives to the end zone. Central Valley definitely showing off their explosiveness in this matchup. So Merritt will be the quarterback here for the Warriors. Trips out to the near sideline. One wide receiver at the top of your screen. Merritt gets the snap. Quick throw to the sideline, but just a miscommunication there between Merritt and Javen Thompson, as I think Thompson thought it was a go route. Merritt thought it was a curl.
Yeah, good coverage, though, by Sobolski. It looked like he was with him as on the last, not the last punt, but the punt before by Knox. Sobolski looked like he was dinged up a little bit on that block on the back call where he got hit from behind, but he's back out there, and he looks like he's fine.
Yeah, always good to see players returning back out onto the field. Zabalski, one of those players. Merritt with the bomb downfield, a foot race, and did he come down with it? He did. What a catch that time by Ryland Jeter. Or rather, Javen Thompson, excuse me.
Yeah, that time they were on the same page as Sobolski. Really was all over him. Really couldn't ask for better coverage, but that was just a perfectly placed ball and even a better catch. It looked like Thompson made that catch on Sobolski's helmet. But yeah, that time they were on the same page with that route.
That'll set up a 1st and 10 from the 39-yard line. So not a one-play drive that time, Adam, but you can't be too disappointed with a pass like that.
No, and on that first play of the drive, Thompson pretty much ran the same route where he ran a go, but Merritt was thinking it was some type of out route, just miscommunication. But yeah, they were on the same page right there. Great coverage by Sobolski. Pretty much Thompson just out jumped Sobolski for the football.
And not sure what the delay is down on the field. They called a timeout.
Yeah, it looked like Central Valley called a timeout as they have 2 left and Knoch has 1 timeout remaining in the half.
Speaking of the half, 6 minutes to go, and make sure you stay tuned during halftime as we spotlight the marching bands here tonight. Listen to some tunes while you wait for some more football. Handoff up the middle, spinning off tacklers is Alexander as he drags a pair of Knoch Knights forward. In on the tackle, it looked like a trio of Knoch Knights, led by, looked like Gavin McGowan. That'll bring us to 2nd down, 5 yards to go. Ball on the Knights 34, quick throw out, tipped off the fingertips of the intended wide receiver, Javen Thompson. And that'll bring us to 3rd down and 5. And back into the game at quarterback is Antoine Johnson. Couple substitutions shuffling on the field for Central Valley. Those two being Jack Bible and Logan Brazos. Alexander to the left of the quarterback Johnson. Man in motion that time was De Niro Simpson, but a whistle blown and a timeout.
Yeah, it looked like the play clock was going right down to 0, and some confusion there by Johnson. Look over silent for the play, so Central Valley head coach there said better be safe rather than sorry and call a timeout. Mark Lyons, the head coach for Central Valley, and not get the delay a game. As we've seen Johnson in at quarterback before, but he was more of the run threat, as the first time we saw Johnson for Central Valley was about a 3rd and 10, 3rd and 11, and it was really just a design run, and he picked up the first down with his legs, and Central Valley facing another 3rd down in this game.
Yeah, as you mentioned earlier in the broadcast, it's kind of been the tale of the tape so far for this offense and for the Knoch defense. You know, they're able to hold them on those first 2 downs, 1st and 2nd down, but then 3rd and 4th, they struggled a little bit so far in this one. Fake handoff, dropping back is Johnson. Quick screen pass out to Alexander. He'll cut it back up towards the middle of the field with speed. Beats the defense and a flag down. And I think they're going to call a hold around on Central Valley. So before we update the score, I have a feeling this one's going to be going backwards.
No, they picked the flag up. Touchdown's good.
So another 6 points here for the Warriors. DeSantis out there. He's looking for his holder. He's like, where's my holder at? And well, there's 18 seconds left on the play clock. But looks like a timeout. Yeah, timeout taken as the holder nowhere to be found for Central Valley.
Yeah, holder Johnson throwing the touchdown. That's Alexander's second touchdown. First touchdown of the game. He had a 13-yard rushing touchdown on 4th down, and this time on a 3rd and long. It's a 35-yard screen pass receiving touchdown. And once again, Jake, Central Valley's just playing much better than Knoch is right now on both 3rd and 4th downs.
Yeah, and I mean, Alexander showing that he can get it done, you know, catching the screen pass, but just getting him out in space, he's so dangerous. You can see that next level speed that he possesses, able to take it up a gear where most people don't even have that gear. You know, the speed is what got him into the end zone on that play. It looked like he ran right past defenders as they were kind of just standing in wake. And the holder on the field this time. DeSantis ready to blast this one. Kick is up, and that one, once again, good. So a 35-0 lead here for the Warriors. I believe they are now 5 for 5. I don't think they've had to punt it away in this game yet.
Yeah, the only drive where they didn't score was on a interception by Keegan Frazier. In that drive, Central Valley was driving into Knoch territory.
So 5 for 6 on the offense today. And now the kickoff team for Central Valley out on the field, led by DeSantis at kicker. Back deep to return it for the Knights. Looks like Kasecki and Johnson. DeSantis kick straight down the middle. Johnson will receive it at about the 17. Johnson running into his own blocker there, staying on his feet, and that play whistled dead. And they'll mark him down right around the 28, maybe 29-yard line. .518 left here in the first half. Coming onto the field for the Knights, number 19 sophomore Bennett Shaw. Kosecki is the quarterback here for the Knights. He was responsible for the biggest net positive rush of this game so far, or play of this game for the Knights, getting that 9-yard carry on the last drive as the handoff to Keegan Fraser maybe nets them a yard, maybe 2, as it'll bring up second down and 8 yards to go.
Yeah, and even not being down 35-0, they're still keeping the ball on the ground and really not having much success doing is, once again, they have no first downs, and they've only had one pass attempt, and that was on a 3rd and long. But, yeah, Knoch, they're just keeping to their true identity and keeping the ball on the ground.
Time keeps on ticking. 8 seconds left on the play clock. Man in motion is Johnson. Kosecki will keep it. He's trying to get around the edge. He does, picking up a couple yards before being forced out of bounds right around the 34-yard line. So another net positive play there for Knoch, as that'll bring up 3rd down and about 5 yards to go.
Yeah, Knoch on a lot of their plays with Kosecki pretty much being the shotgun for all the plays. You've seen that jet motion almost every time as a holding call on Knoch, but Xavier Johnson is the guy that is in motion on that jet offense, trying to throw up the Central Valley defense, but it really hasn't worked so far.
Yeah, you mentioned that holding call, so Knoch going in the wrong direction after a couple of positive plays. This will bring up 2nd down and a country mile. Call it 2nd down and 17. Five seconds left on the play clock. Kosecki gets the snap, but once again, another flag on the play. And moving in the wrong direction once again are the Knights. So 1 step forward, 2 steps back, or in this case, about a couple more than 2. I'll bring up 2nd down and 22. Kosecki awaiting the snap. Man in motion is Johnson. Kosecki going to look to pass. That throw nearly picked off there by Ryland Jeter, able to get a hand in there. And, you know, Jeter's been flying all over the field. Camera extraordinaire Colton Henderson saying he flew the whole way across the field to make that play. And that's a name we've heard a couple of times today, Adam. Ryland Jeter with another big play there.
Yeah, and take a look, I guess, on who was in the backfield providing pressure for Central Valley on Kosecki.
I would have to imagine that would be Fitzsimmons.
You're right on that, and it was pretty accurate throw with Kosecki on the run and being pressured, but you would think he made him rush the throw a little bit.
Play clock reaching 0. And Knoch able to get the time out off in time. So there are no more timeouts left here in this first half for either team. And, you know, we've seen this a couple times where both teams have had kind of issues managing the play clock.
Yeah, and that's what these Week 0 games are for, and you'll see that even if you're the number 1 ranked team in the state of PA in Class 3A, you'll see those like delay a game calls, a lot of holding penalties, negate big gains, timeout because the play clock is going down to 0. So that's what this week 0 game is about. And each team has a lot of non-conference games before they get in conference play. For Knoch, they have 2 more conference or non-conference games. They are here against Freeport next week, and the week after they make the trek to Russellton to take on Deer Lakes, 2 3A opponents. And after this, Central Valley has 4 non-conference games, as they only have 6 teams in the conference. They are at home against Beaver next week. Big rivalry game at Alcluba, who they beat in the 2019 WPL championship game on the 17th. They are at Blackhawk, or on the 10th. They're at Alcluba at Blackhawk the 17th, and they're home against Newcastle to round out their non-conference schedule.
Yeah, a lot of good games for Central Valley coming up here as Kaseki gets the snap, cuts it back, trying to break through tackles. That ball slips out, and it looks like Central Valley was able to fall on top of it. Coming up with the fumble recovery, I believe that's Brett Fitzsimmons, number 10.
Yeah, and even on 3rd and 21, Knoch is still running the ball and only 1 pass attempt. And yeah, Fitzsimmons, he has a 72-yard rushing touchdown, and he's like, I'll put my name in the stat sheet for defense with a fumble recovery, giving that Central Valley excellent field position.
Yeah, big play there for the Warriors as that sets them up at 1st and 10 from the 21. Now will be set up for 2nd down and 10. After that incompletion on the play. Looks like the quarterback out there, Matt Merritt, once again. Merritt will keep it, showing off the legs a little bit. Evades 1 tackler. He'll make another man miss on his way to the end zone. So Matt Merritt getting it done on the ground and in the air so far in this first half.
Yeah, Nicholas Davis was in on the backfield looking to make that tackle by the line of scrimmage, but great job by Merritt to show off his elusiveness, basically shrug off that tackler like it was nothing, to scamper all the way to the end zone.
Broke that ankle tackle and then ran through the defense. And DeSantis kick up and good. No surprise there. He is now 6 for 6 on extra points. And with 3 minutes and 14 seconds left in the first half, Knoch looking to at least get a score before halftime to rally the troops a little bit, but this Central Valley defense has just been suffocating so far.
Yeah, again, no first downs for Knoch, and I know it sounds like a broken record, but only 1 pass attempt, even on 3rd long. Knoch is just committed to running the ball, but the defensive line of Central Valley, led by Sean Fitzsimmons and Jack Bible, they've had plenty of tackles for loss in this half, have just been too much for this Knoch offensive line to handle.
Once again, to kick this one away is DeSantis. That one straight down the middle. It will bounce on the ground, and then just having to dive on top of it to avoid another turnover there was Luke Goodlin. Looked like a little bit of a miscommunication on the return team there. Looked like Johnson wanted to take it, but Goodlin kind of in that vicinity. They just kind of crossed their wires there, and that resulted in the ball ending up on the ground. That'll set up this Knights offense with a 1st and 10. Ball placed at the 17-yard line, their own 17-yard line to be exact. Kosecki and company. Ready to try and get some positive yards here. Handoff goes to Fraser. He tries to turn the corner, falling forward for a gain of about 3 yards. That'll set up this Knights offense with a 2nd down and 7 to go. And once again on the tackle, Rylan Jeter. They'll actually give him 4 yards on the carry, so Fraser sets the Knights up with a 2nd and 6. Kosecki bobbles the snap, picks it up. He's going to run towards the far sideline before being taken out for a big loss on the play. Okay, so there was a fumble on the play. Central Valley coming away with it. So with 2:09 left to go, the Warriors look to add more onto their already impressive lead.
Yeah, Central Valley now with fumble recoveries on back-to-back Knoch possessions. Knoch now with 2 turnovers. Central Valley with 1 turnover.
Out on the field at the quarterback position looks to be Antoine Johnson. Johnson hands that one off to Fitzsimmons. He breaks a tackle, and he will march his way into the end zone. Once again, another one play to pay dirt for these Warriors. Just picking up right where they left off at the end of last year, taking home that PIAA championship for the class of 3A. Pouring it on now, a 48-0 lead here for the Warriors as DeSantis lines this one up for the extra point. That one up and through the uprights, so make it 7 for 7. DeSantis with a touchdown and an extra point worth of points just from extra points. And that drive took all of 7 seconds off the clock. 2:02 left here in the first half. Well, you mentioned in the pregame, Adam, that this Central Valley team, Mercy ruled 11 out of 12 opponents last year. Of course, the only one they didn't was in the state championship game. But they certainly are on their way to doing that here tonight.
Yeah, and how the Mercy rule works is in the second half, it is a running clock except for timeouts and scoring plays. So on incompletions, the clock just keeps running, but that, again, doesn't go into effect until the second half.
DeSantis ready to kick this one away. This one will be returned by Fraser as that one falls on the ground once more. Fraser trying to cut it back, but gets taken down right around the 22, maybe the 23-yard line. So Knoch will take it over, 1st and 10 from their own 23-yard line with 1:53 left.
Score update, another game you can see on the High Top Sports Network between Armstrong and Freeport. They are tied at 14 with 6:54 remaining in the second quarter. Freeport just tied it up.
Yeah, that is a battle on Route 28.
Well, not quite on Route 28, on 356.
Well, you got to take 28.
Fair enough.
Kosecki with the handoff to Frazier. He breaks a tackle. He's loose. He has a first down, and then some, breaking another tackle before being taken down on the play there by Malachi Parham. But, I mean, without question, the best offensive play of the night here for the Knights. A big-time gain of 23 yards by Keegan Frazier. Kosecki now sets up, waiting for the snap. Another handoff to Frazier. He runs it up the left side of the line, falling forward for it looks like a gain of about 4 yards, maybe 5.
Yeah, as we're approaching a minute left in the second quarter, Knoch is just going to keep the football on the ground, and they have no timeouts either, so they cannot stop a clock only if they go out of bounds or an incompletion.
Yeah, good point there, Adam. Both teams burning through all 3 of their timeouts by the time the 3-minute mark of the second quarter was on the board. Kosecki hands it off once again to Frazier. Frazier bulldozing his way forward for a gain of a couple yards on that play. It'll set up Knoch for a third down and right around 4. Yeah, but that clock not stopping as we're inside 20 seconds to go here in the first half. And once again, stick around and hear these marching bands perform during the halftime show. You know, I mentioned last year earlier in the broadcast that if there were marching bands last year, it was just the home team, but both schools' marching bands in attendance today as that handoff goes once again to Frazier. He breaks a tackle with a stiff arm, reverses Fields, and now he takes it up the other way. Frazier with some space gets down and tackled right around the 30 as time expires. But for a second there, you saw a spark from this Knoch team, and Frazier at the end of this second quarter really putting the team on his back, offensively at least.
Yeah, Frazier had a 23-yard run for a first down, and that gain on that last run to end the first half was about 19. So at least with Knoch being down 49-0, some positive plays to end the first half as Central Valley will get the ball to start the second half.
And while we wait for these marching bands to come out onto the field, I just want to say thank you to a couple of people here, like Arms Care, located at 85 Glade Drive in Katanning. They provide the highest quality medical equipment, supplies, and services for use in your home. After an accident, illness, or surgery, the caring professionals at Arms Care can assist you in getting the appropriate medical equipment into your home where you can make the most progress on your recovery. Arms Care offers 24/7 emergency services as well as a wide variety of specialized medical equipment, and their experienced staff is committed to helping you or your loved one regain normalcy by providing the highest level of quality home care equipment, supplies, and service. Contact Arms Care today at 724-545-3200. 724-545-3200, Arms Care. And the marching band's preparing to play, so we will take a break and let them do their thing out on the field.
I don't know if it's because of the rain at all, but I don't know if it's because how the audio is. But like, if you were cutting out a little bit, yeah, like that was kind of cutting out. So I was trying to.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Please join me in welcoming to the field your 2021 Knoch Knights Band. Under the direction of Mr. Rick Hayden, Assistant Director Mrs. Deanna Golden, Color Guard Advisor Mrs. Kim Brandt, Knock Ed Advisor Mrs. Lori Spangler, Major Ed Advisor Mrs. Natalie Watt. Under the field leadership of Drum Majors Jack Walker and Andrew Ripper, and Band Captains Kevin Golden, Jake McCurdy, Braden Sloan, and Justin Walls, along with Drumline Captains Kevin Golden and Marina Smith. Drum Majors, is the band ready? Tonight, the band will open its halftime show with a 1966 classic hit famously performed by the Blues Brothers. Here's Gimme Some Lovin'. And now we will feature auxiliary squads under the student leadership of Color Guard Captain Paige Penn and Co-Captain Victoria Miller. Knockout Captains Mia Savannah and Emma Venata, and Quartermaster Riley Huff. Major Ed Captain Alexis Sedlak, and feature twirler Madison Zellhart. Our squads will perform to the 1971 hard rock hit by Led Zeppelin. Here's Rock and Roll. close our show this evening, we'll leave you with the 2006 alternative rock hit by the band Chemical Romance. Here's Welcome to the Black Parade with trumpet soloist Braden Sloan and Isaac Brace. On behalf of the Knoch Knights Marching Band directors and staff, we wish you the very best 2021-22 school year. Let's go Knights!
And with both of the performances from the marching bands out of the way, we can get back to some football here. Now, to kind of run us through the scoring drives there in that first half, Adam.
Yeah, so Central Valley leading Knoch 49-0. Knoch had a 3-and-out on his first possession, and Central Valley had good field position to start. They got their first touchdown on a Landon Alexander 13-yard rushing touchdown on a 4th-and-1, and then they executed a perfect onside kick, and Central Valley got the ball at the Knoch 26-yard line, and this time They scored on a 32-yard touchdown reception there by Simpson to make it 14-0 with 7:24 remaining in the first quarter. Denario Simpson made that touchdown grab, and then following another Knoch 3-and-out, Central Valley scored on its next possession, a 69-yard touchdown reception by Donovan Jones to make it 21-0 with 4:34 remaining in the first quarter. And at the end of the first quarter, it was 21-0. Central Valley was driving again into Knoch territory until, for Knoch, the senior Keegan Frazier picked off Merritt for the first turnover of the game, but no first downs in that first quarter for Knoch, as Central Valley was leading 21-0. And after a holding call on a great punt return by Landon Alexander that put Central Valley back in its own territory at their own 28 on the first drive, Brett Fitzsimmons took a run up the gut for 72 yards for a touchdown to make it 28-0. Then Knoch with another 3-and-out. And then the next drive by Central Valley was a 35-yard receiving touchdown by Landon Alexander. So now Alexander has both a rushing touchdown and a receiving touchdown as well. Following another Knoch 3-and-out was a 21-yard rushing touchdown to make it 42-0 with 3:14 remaining in the second half. And then back-to-back fumble recoveries by the Central Valley defense set up Central Valley in great field position. This time at Knoch 17-yard line, Fitzsimmons scores again on the first play, a 17-yard rushing touchdown. And Knoch, they did not pick up its first down until the last drive of that second quarter on a 23-yard run on the play by Frazier. And then he picked up another first down on the last play of the first half to make the score 49-0 Central Valley, as Central Valley will receive the second half kickoff.
Yeah, that second score, it looked like an onside kick, but not your traditional onside kick. That ball was fielded by Central Valley at the Knoch 20-yard line, but the way DeSantis was able to just kind of, those first few kickoffs in that first quarter, just kind of pinning Knoch in the corner there, like right around the 20 on the far sideline. Forced a fumble on that first kickoff, but Knoch getting lucky there and able to keep the ball as it rolled out of bounds before going 3-and-out. And then that second kickoff, just the speed by those Warriors running down the field and meeting the ball right as it landed to get that turnover, to get that long onside kick.
And other score updates on games you can see on High Top Sports Network. 57 seconds left in the second quarter. Armstrong leading Freeport 27-14, as Knoch will be hosting Freeport next week in another non-conference game. And at halftime, Kiski is leading Butler 7-0 in their Week 0 game.
Yeah, a lot of great action here on High Top Sports Network. Make sure you check it out. Of course, all of these games available immediately after their conclusion for rebroadcast. Make sure you check out hightopsportsnetwork.com so you don't miss any of the action. And real quick, High Top Sports Network is excited to broadcast Knoch Athletics this fall. If you or someone you know is a local business owner interested in sponsoring HTSN's coverage of Freeport or Knoch Athletics or Armstrong or Kiski, we got them all, now or in the future, please contact us via staff@hightopsportsnetwork.com. Again, that's staff@hightopsportsnetwork.com, or by phone at 724-824-3554. You can also find us at hightopsportsnetwork.com or on Facebook at hightopsports and Twitter at hightop_sports. That's the Twitter handle. So make sure if you or someone you know is interested in advertising with us, helping support the streams and make us able to keep coming out here and broadcasting these games, that would be wonderful. Just get in contact with us and we'll hook you up. Also want to remind people that we have a donate button here on our Boxcast site. So if you click that donate button, we get the proceeds to that, and that helps us keep the train rolling, helps us keep moving upward and upward, making these broadcasts better and better week by week. We can't do it without you, so make sure, get in contact with us if you're a small business owner or somebody interested in advertising, and if you want to help us support, any amount will do wonders for us here. Make sure that gets put to good use. And click that donate button down below. But now just 10 seconds remain until the start of the third quarter, and of course we will have running clock for this second half, barring a major comeback here from the Knights.
And the way the running clock works, the clock only stops on timeouts and if there's another scoring play. So incompletions, the clock keeps running with that mercy rule that has been in effect, I don't know exactly when it started, but for about 5 years now for the WPIAL. Now, yes, it is 35 points or more, but that doesn't start. The mercy rule doesn't come into effect until the second half of football games.
And if I'm remembering correctly, Knoch started with the ball, so I believe they will be kicking off to start.
Yep, that's correct.
This second half. So, if you're Knoch, you'd like to start with the ball, maybe get some offense generating. On the last drive of that second half, they were finally able to get some net positive yardage on the back of Keegan Fraser with 2 big-time runs from him. I'm sure they'd like to see more of that in the second half, but they got to find a way to slow this Warriors offense down. Easier said than done, of course. You got playmakers at all the different positions like Central Valley does. It can be tough to stop.
Yeah, and almost in the first half last year, Jake, Central Valley averaged 50.1 points per game, and they're at 49. So for how dominant they've been, they're almost right at their scoring average from last year, and 11 of their 12 victories have been via the mercy rule from last year. So Central Valley is really picking off right where they left off last season, and showing how dominant they can be.
Well put there, Adam, as this kick is off, and it will be returned at about the 17-yard line, cutting it up the field, and a lot of space for the return man. He's going to take it up the far sideline. Nobody left to beat but himself as he gets into the end zone, trying to see the number on that young man's jersey. Looks like it is number 9, and that is Malachi Parnham. So he will get a touchdown, and these Warriors have shown that they're able to take these returns for a long distance. We saw Alexander take 2 that got called back, but no flag down on the play here, and the Warriors extend their lead on the first play of the half. Just 15 seconds to score as Parnham goes the distance. And DeSantis' extra point is up and through the uprights. So, make it 56-0.
Yeah, and with the mercy rule also, it's 8-minute quarters instead of 12 minutes.
Yeah, I thought I was losing my mind there for a second, Adam. I looked up at the clock and I saw 8 minutes, and I said to myself, aren't they usually 12? Am I going crazy? But as you stated, the mercy rule shaves 4 minutes off of the quarter, which is a pretty significant chunk of time. Knoch will have another chance now on the kickoff return. We talked about at the start of this half, how Knoch would love to have started with the ball here in the second half, but only 15 seconds off the clock. They might as well. Just surrendering 7 points along the way. Not ideal.
Yeah, in the first two kickoffs, Central Valley likes to do that kickoff towards the sideline. They recovered it on the onside kick the second time, and the first time was a fumble out of bounds. But after that, Knoch has done a nice job covering those funky kickoffs near the sideline.
A lot of them since then have been straight liners, too, from DeSantis, as he's kind of taken that approach. One of them did go out of bounds, so I wonder if that made him a little gun-shy to try to pooch it again in that corner. That one will fly and bounce into the end zone, so a touchback on the play. And now the Knights offense goes to work, starting at the 20-yard line.
New quarterback in for Knoch. Looks like they're handing over the play calling duties of freshman Keaton Oprosky, 5'10", 155 pounds. So Kosecki, he got in most of the work in the first half as he was out for a drive for J.J. Sobalski, but the freshman Oprosky's getting in some work in this second half.
And the handoff goes inside, ripping through a couple defenders is the back before he's rustled down onto the ground. A gain of a couple on the play. It looks like that would be number 35, freshman Sam Skirka.
Actually, my mistake. That's Aiden Jones, the sophomore at quarterback. Oprosky's in at wide receiver. They're just both listed as quarterbacks on the roster, but Jones is a quarterback.
Yeah, no real need if you're Knoch to put your starters out there in a game like this as that ball is fumbled onto the ground. You don't want to risk injury for those guys who you're going to need for the rest of the season. So time for the younger guys to get some work here in this one, down 56-0.
Yeah, heads up play there. Sam Circa recovered the fumble to give this Knoch offense a chance on third and manageable.
Yeah, they'll call it 3rd and 6 from the 24-yard line of Knoch. Just over 6 minutes to play here. That snap bobbled a little bit. The sophomore will scramble out to his right before being taken down on the play by that looks to be number 83, Logan Cantwell. Cantwell with the tackle will bring up 4th down and 8 yards to go for the Knights. And the punt is off, kicked by Brendan Tristani. Return man spins before being taken down right around the Knoch 47. So a decent little return there. Sets the Warriors up once again in Knoch territory. Doesn't seem like the Warriors have had to spend too much time on offense in their own territory. Most of their drives starting on the Knoch side of the field. This one no different.
Yeah, Antoine Johnson at quarterback for Central Valley as he saw some action in the first half.
Johnson with the handoff and the tackle behind the line. Great play made that time by number 14 here for Knoch, freshman Cody Mullen. So Mullen with a 4-yard tackle for a loss. Sets up the Warriors with a 2nd and 14 from their own 47-yard line. Johnson fakes the handoff, keeps it himself, finds a little lane in the middle of the line and brings that ball a couple yards across the line of scrimmage. give him a gain of about 6 yards on the play as that takes us to 3rd down and about 8 yards to go. Once again, Johnson in the gun, back flanked to his right. Man comes in motion on that high snap, but a flag is down before they say the snap went off. And it looks like that flag is going to go against the offense, and that'll bring us up with a 3rd down and long, about 3rd and 14. Man comes in motion, handoff goes to the man in motion. That is Malachi Parham, and he takes it close to that 1st down marker, but they're going to mark him down a couple yards shy, or no, they're going to give him the 1st down as the referee on the far sideline gives the windmill motion, saying, move the chains. Well, no, he lied to me. It's a 4th and 1. He did that, move the arm, the little circles. That usually means bring the chain gang down the field, but not this time. He faked me out. And I'm not sure who is carrying the football there. It looked like Shad and Johnson kind of both carrying the rock that time, but regardless, it'll result in another 1st down, and that's kind of been the story all night, Adam.
Yeah, the first 4th down conversion for Central Valley resulted in Landon Alexander 13-yard rushing touch, and now they're 3 for 3 on 4th downs.
2 minutes and 16 seconds remain here in the 3rd quarter. Handoff up the middle. The back muscles his way forward for a nice chunky yardage. On the carry that time, it looked like it was Jack Bibble. Interesting to see him in the backfield, but he's been flying around all game long. Say the coach says, hey, you deserve a couple carries. Come and tote the rock. That'll take us to 2nd down and 4 yards to go. Fake handoff. Johnson keeps it. He will scramble, makes one man miss, gets taken down right around the 15-yard line. So another 1st down for these Warriors as they continue to bleed the clock.
Yeah, great design play there as Johnson showed his speed on that run. And you saw that from the first snap that he played in this game. They brought him in on a 3rd and long, and he picked up the 1st down with his legs and just showed his speed there to continue this drive for Central Valley.
Yeah, Central Valley with a couple of capable quarterbacks. Merritt, he can hurt you with his legs, as crossing the goal line there is Abram Tadilovich. But a flag is down. But back to my point, this Central Valley team has a couple of capable quarterbacks that can hurt you in different ways. Merritt more so with his arm, but we did see that one run that he had where he crossed the goal line. But, definitely Antoine Johnson, your prototypical kind of scrambling quarterback in the backfield. If they, I don't know if they plan to use them on by committee. I would say that Merritt's going to take the majority of the snaps from quarterback, but it's just always nice to have that, that change of pace in your wheelhouse. And Knoch able to come away with the football on the fumble there, recovering that one. Number 19, sophomore Bennett Shaw.
Yeah, and that touchdown by Central Valley was called back due to an ineligible man downfield, as that looked like a run-pass option, as looked like Johnson was he faked the run to the running back, looked like he was going to run it himself, but then at the last moment he threw it, and the lineman thought that he was going to run it, so he went more than a yard downfield. So that's what makes a lineman ineligible downfield, is you can't be more than 1 yard past the line of scrimmage on a pass play. Wind
starting to pick up here at Knoch High School. My paper's kind of flying about as that first down carry is taken back to the line of scrimmage. That'll set up this Knights offense with a 2nd down and 10 to go, as there is under 16 seconds left here in the 3rd quarter. And they get a playoff before the end of the quarter, and stacked up and going nowhere that time is the back for Knoch. And that'll take us into quarter number 4. The Central Valley Warriors 56, the Knoch Knights nothing. We're going to take a quick break and hear from some of our sponsors, but keep it locked on to High Top Sports. We'll be right back.
Gross Embroidery and Sign Shop is the official clother of High Top Sports Network and is a family-owned company that can handle all your custom embroidery, custom sign, and laser engraving needs. Located at 409 4th Street in downtown Fort City, Gross Embroidery and Sign Shop can create sports and career apparel to the exact specifications of your organization. Their laser engraving department can put your logo or design on glasses, tumblers, insulated cups, signs, coffee cups, and more. Call Gross Embroidery and Sign Shop at 724-763-2461 today.
Protecting the things you love and how you do so is among the most important decisions you'll ever have to make. TGIF Solutions can provide you with the peace of mind by supplying answers to all of your insurance needs, whether it be home, auto, business, life, or farm coverage. Contact the team at the Shellhammer Atwood Agency today in West Katanning to be sure that you, your loved ones, and the things that matter most stay safe when it matters the most. TGIF Solutions, insurance for what matters.
And welcome back, everyone, to High Top Sports Network. That snap high or bobbled or some combination of the two. Thank you for joining us here tonight as we enter the 4th quarter. That play will bring us to 4th and 11. I'm Jake DeLuca. Joined beside me is Colton Henderson and Adam Morganti. As this clock continues to roll, 7.5 minutes left to play. Another punt backed up to their own goal line for Knoch. And I don't know if they're going to try to return this one. That one looked like the Warriors thought that they had touched it. Otherwise, you could have just let Knoch touch it up there, but falling on top of that one for Central Valley was Malachi Parham, who's already had a pretty decent game here for the Warriors.
Yeah, he had a kickoff return for a touchdown to start this half, the only scoring so far in the 2nd half, as Central Valley was driving the last drive, but then they fumbled.
A handoff there to Lawson. Marcus Lawson spinning through contact, still on his feet, but a pair of Knoch tacklers take him down after a positive gain on the play. So that'll take us to about a 2nd down, and we'll call it 5 here. Johnson in the gun. Gets the snap, keeps it for himself. He'll take off with it. Running across the 40, inside the 35, to the 20. One man to beat. He has a blocker there, but Knoch able to force him out of bounds inside the 10-yard line. So Antoine Johnson showing you just how much he can hurt you with his legs. First and goal from the 8-yard line. Handoff going inside. The back bullying his way forward before being taken down right around the 6-yard line. So call it a gain of 2 on the play. That'll make it second down and goal now with 5:36 left to go in this contest. Johnson in the gun. Low snap at his feet. He's going to pick it up and just try to scramble forward, breaking a couple tackles, diving forward towards the end zone, and he will get across the goal line for another score. So a broken play turned into 6 points from Antoine Johnson, and 63-0 is your score with 5:10 left to go in this one.
Yeah, there's been quite a few bad snaps from both Knoch and Central Valley. You saw that from Central Valley on the first snap of the game, but Johnson did an excellent job improvising just on a broken play, taking that run all the way to the end zone for a touchdown. That's another bad snap.
And so, extra points will not count on the broken down play there. Now my question is, does that count against the kicker in his numbers? It does.
Really?
Well.
Harsh world we live in, I guess.
Well put there, Adam. $5:10 left in this one. Now, if you're Central Valley, you got to be feeling pretty good about the results of this one. But if you're Knoch, Adam, what positives, if any, do you think you take away from a game like this? I mean, you're going up against the steepest of competition, but still, you know, allowing 62 points is never on the game plan.
Well, you mentioned steepest competition. I mean, you really can't find any teams in the WPL much better than Central Valley, so at least that's a positive that the very first regular season game is against very good competition, so you get to see how you level out with. And in the first half, this Knoch defense really did hold them good on first and second down, but really when it came to third downs where Central Valley beat them. So that's something that this Knoch defense can have their heads held high about, is how they stuck with them on first and second down, but they just became too much, and the Knoch defense was also on the field way too much, and they just got tired out. But first and second down, the defense was pretty good for Knoch.
Yeah, and that kind of happens with these teams that have all these explosive playmakers. You know, you can hold them in place for a couple of plays, but eventually they're going to find a way to break one. And, I mean, that's kind of been the tail of the tape here for the Warriors tonight. You know, they're able to get it downfield, but they've had a lot of explosive plays for just massive yardage that resulted in scores. Handoff goes inside, a little bit of running room before the back is taken down there. I believe that is Sam Skirka once again with the carry. That'll take us to second down and 5. And the Knights offense prepare for a second down and 5 from their own 38-yard line. Handoff once again to Skirka as he is hit behind for a loss there. How much of a loss, we'll see. Maybe he just gets back to the line of scrimmage there. Or not the line of scrimmage, but the original line. So they'll call it third down and 4. So he actually bullied his way forward for a yard. Quarterback out there for the Knights is Aiden Jones. Man in motion is Nathan Hollenbaugh. Jones gets the snap, hands it off to Skirka, and he is just swallowed immediately. Tackled for a loss back at the original line of scrimmage. That'll bring us to 4th down and 10 with 3 minutes and 20 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah, it looks like Knoch's going for it here on 4th down, but they're letting the play clock wind still in the huddle with 7 seconds left on the play clock.
Yeah, they're going to have to rush to the line to get this play off. Just 2 seconds left on the play clock. It is at 0. The cornerback there on the near sideline, that's B.J. Nastic pointing at the play clock in front of the official like, hey, they're out of time over here, and it will be a delay of game. So I doubt that we see the offense back out there after this. I mean, maybe Knoch just wants to see what they can do with just 2:42 left in this fourth quarter in this game.
Yeah, that play clock was at 0 forever until Coach Mallory called the timeout. But in a 62-0 game, you would think the officials be a little more lenient with stuff like that. But it does look like the offense wants to stay out there and run and play on 4th and 7. And why not? Because who knows, for Knoch, once you get into other games this year in the conference schedule, you might have to pick up a 4th and 7 or around a big 4th down at this time in the game where it's a close game and a big conference game. So I like the call by Coach Mallory, see what they can do on 4th down. Again, they've only passed the ball once in this game. I wonder if they'll air it out here on 4th down.
Yeah, I mean, you might as well take a shot here if you're Knoch. They'll just hand it off up the middle. That'll get positive yardage, but nowhere close to the 1st down marker. So that's a turnover on downs for the Knights. And that'll set up the visiting Warriors with a 1st and 10 at the Knoch 36-yard line. So another drive starting with great field position for Central Valley. Quarterback is Antoine Johnson. He waits in the gun for the snap. Handoff there to the back. He scurries backwards and then finds some room along the far sideline. Taking the rock there is Don Lindsay. Bennett Shaw with the tackle. That'll take us to 2nd down and 7 for the Knights with under 2 minutes to go. 1:43 left to play in this one. And, of course, I urge you all to stick around here for postgame as we talk to Knoch head coach Brandon Mallory after the game, get his thoughts on the team's opening Week 0 game as this pile is just moving forward. It's looked like all 22 players out there pushing the pile one way or the other. But they'll mark him down well short of that 1st down marker. They'll call it 3rd and 5 after a gain of 2. Johnson in the backfield at quarterback, waiting for the snap, gets it, hands the ball off there to his back. That is Mackay Parham. So we got a Malachi and a Mackay Parham. Final 30 seconds of this game as that will be 4th down and about 6 as the Knights push the Warriors back a tinge.
They do have to run a play before the game clock wears out, but they just might kneel the ball.
I think the refs are just going to say, I think the refs are calling it. So The play clock runs out, but they're going to let the game clock keep rolling, and that will be your final score in this one. Central Valley with a very impressive performance on both sides of the ball. Of course, you'd expect nothing less from the state champions of last year.
Yeah, and for both these teams, next week, Knoch will be right here at Saxonburg, and they will take on Freeport in a non-section game, and Central Valley will have its first home game, a non-conference game, as Central Valley will host Beaver.
Yeah, Colton Henderson going down to the field to get Coach Mowry for us for a quick little chat about this game here. But you mentioned these next weeks for both of these teams. It doesn't get any easier for Knoch, and Central Valley, I'm sure they'll be looking to keep marching forward. Sure they would love another result like the one they had today.
Yeah, and now for Central Valley, 12 of their last 13 games have been victorious over the Mercy Roll. In their only game where it wasn't Mercy Roll was the state championship against Wymosing, where they won 35-21. But Knoch's next opponent, Freeport, next week isn't doing very good, as they are down the Armstrong right now, 34-14, as they're approaching the end of the third quarter.
Yeah, and if you were watching this game and you just can't get enough football, you haven't gotten your football fix, we got you covered. Us at High Top Sports Network, we were at two other games outside of this one. Josh Schreckengost and his team down there at Kiski, as the Cavaliers hosted Butler, and Joe Rhodes and that team at Freeport for the Riverhawks and Yellow Jackets matchup, a game that I was highly anticipating. I've been around both of those programs for a long time. Adam, you're a Freeport graduate yourself. I know you were looking forward to this matchup as well. So whenever I get home, I know what I'm doing. I'm turning on that game, and I'm checking out what both of those teams have done. Armstrong with a great quarterback at Caden Olson, just WPIAL passing leader in his sophomore year last year, looking to maintain that crown. So I believe that game is still going on. So you can check that out after we talk to Coach Mowry. Of course, stick around for the post-game interview.
Yeah, and in the third quarter, Kiski is leading Butler 14-0.
Yeah, that's good for Kiski going up against a big school like Butler, a 6A program. No longer in the WPIAL, though. Now I believe in D10 are the Golden Tornado. And, I always thought it was the Golden Tornadoes, but there's no S on the end. It's like the newly minted Seattle Kraken. Yeah, there's only a few teams, professionally at least, that don't end in an S. And bonus points for anybody at home listening that can name them all. I'm not going to fact check you, but if you feel like it, give it a shot. Try naming all the professional sports teams that don't end in an S. The list is very small.
I would say, is there any more of those teams in high school football? I can't think of any.
No, I can't think of any off the top of my head. I'm sure there are, but did that game wrap up yet, Adam? That Kiski game?
No, they're still in the third quarter.
So still a lot of football to be had here on High Top, and like I said, you can always catch the game on a rebroadcast. They're available immediately upon the finish of the game. And while we have a second waiting for the coach, I just want to remind everybody that, we at High Top Sports Network are really excited to broadcast Knoch Athletics this fall. And if you know someone or you are yourself a local business owner interested in sponsoring High Top Sports Network's coverage of Knoch Athletics now or in the future, you can contact us at our email at staff@High Top Sports Network. Pretty easy, staff@High Top Sports Network. Or you can give us a call at 724-824-3554. You can find us online at hightopsportsnetwork.com or on Facebook at High Top Sports and Twitter with the handle at @hightop_sports. Make sure you follow all the social media. We're going to be giving away a lot of awesome stuff this season, partnered with TGIF Solutions, the Shellhammer Atwood Agency. along with Sprankles. Make sure you give those 2 pages a follow also for great giveaways all season long. Our Week 0 giveaway was a pretty awesome golf bag, so tons of great prizes to be had this season. Just make sure you follow us 3 on social media. That's Sprankles Neighborhood Market, TGIF Solutions, the Shellhammer Atwood Agency, and of course, yours truly at High Top Sports Network.
Yeah, and we'll be right back here at Knoch High School for Knoch in Freeport. I guess we can call that game the Border War, as Freeport and Knoch pretty much right down the road each other. A nice, easy commute for me to Knoch. But yeah, the last time these 2 teams played, Freeport won a dramatic game that came down to the wire, 31-24 at Freeport. And now the last time Knoch played Freeport here at Knoch, Knoch beat Freeport 26-7.
Yeah, so some bragging rights on the line next week here for the next door neighbors, Knoch and Freeport. Yeah, like you said, I think maybe a 10-minute drive between the schools.
Probably not even. Yeah, like it took me 15 minutes to get here, and I'm maybe like 5 minutes away from Freeport High School.
Yeah, not a far commute for the Yellow Jackets next week, as you mentioned they find themselves down against Armstrong right now. So if things stand as they are in that game, the Yellow Jackets will certainly be looking for revenge next week, or to avenge their loss rather, against this Knoch team.
Yeah, and Armstrong is in Knoch section, and Knoch will be at Armstrong on September 24th. We will also, again, we will have all the games for Knoch here on High Top Sports Network, but I'll also kill 2 birds with 1 stone with Knoch and Armstrong on the same broadcast.
Yeah, it's always a good time whenever we got 2 of our home schools going up against each other. Knoch, Freeport, Armstrong, they play each other pretty often. Kiski, basketball season rolls around. We'll see more of Kiski playing these teams like Knoch, Armstrong, and Freeport, with them being 5A and those other schools 4. But, one thing that I missed a lot from last year, just covering these games, I've been around this area covering games for a long time. Two of the biggest things that I missed, fans in the stands. We were told Knoch's good to go, full capacity. So it was great to see a raucous crowd in the stadium today. And number 1 on my list, and it's not even close. I have survived off of this many times, being a sports guy throughout the years. The concession stand. Last year, no concession stands to be found. And this year, though, they're back and they're better than ever. I can't tell you how many times I have lived off of concession stand hot dogs. Not the best dietary choice, but man, does it taste good. Just waiting for Colton to get up here with Coach Mallory.
Yeah, and a pretty full capacity crowd on the Knoch side and the Central Valley side, and Knoch had a pretty big student section too, and it was limited capacity all year last year. And yeah, it's good to have a full capacity in the stands, and it's high school football season when you hear people from the press box, from the stands. You hear fans complaining about calls that the refs made or the refs didn't make. So it's pretty much back to normal when you hear that.
Oh yeah, it's football season when you hear your first "come on." And we heard a couple of those tonight. The first half a little littered in some laundry on the field, but the second half not as much time to accrue such penalties with the running clock and the 8-minute quarters.
Yeah, Central Valley did have a touchdown called back due to an ineligible lineman downfield. But yeah, the second half was pretty clean, and I've said this multiple times. I'll say this again. This is why you have these non-conference Week 0 games, is you're going to be a little rusty. You're going to be a little amped up to get out there and hit someone that's not on your team, because these scrimmages, it's not like this game is. Like, it's pretty much like kind of half speed. The coaches are out there right behind on the field. So this is game speed pretty much, and it's good that the way it's set up for both Knoch and Central Valley. They have quite a few non-conference games before they get into their conference schedule.
And coming up now is Coach Mowry. So, Adam, I'll let you take it away here. Coach, I'll hand over the mic to you.
Yeah. So with your first regular season game, obviously not the result you wanted, what are some of your thoughts and takeaways you can take from this game to build on for next week?
You know, the big thing is just coming out and continue to compete and stay together. You know, there were a lot of times tonight where we were there to make plays, but we just didn't finish, whether it was tackles, making blocks, you know, what have you. So it's just, you know, one of those things. Now that's my hat's off to Coach Lyons, because that team's going to be at Heinz Field, and, you know, we're going to see them making some noise this year. So they're very good. But, you know, we just have to stay together and fight and battle.
Carson Kasecki, he transferred from North Catholic. He was starting at quarterback for you today. So what did you see from him, and what can you build on for next week?
You know, the big thing with Carson is he's an athletic kid, and he can throw the ball if we get him some time. And we tried to get him on the edge a little bit tonight, and, you know, we just couldn't stop the penetration from them, and their linebackers are getting over the top. So it's, you know, we're going to stick with it, you know, just continue to work in the battle and get ready for Freeport next week.
And you said how your defense was able to stay with the Central Valley offense. Looked like on first and second down in the first half, you were able to hang with them really well. So what do you think attributes to your defense being able to contain that Central Valley offense early on in first and second down?
You know, the kids the whole time this whole summer and this, you know, through camp and our scrimmage last week, we scrimmaged Beaver Falls. You know, it was the rallying kind of just rally to the ball, rally, get hats there. And we were, you know, we started off that way, and we just, you know, started to fall off a little, unfortunately, but we have to stay on them and, you know, understand that every play is important and just keep fighting, keep battling.
I mentioned this during the broadcast. So Beaver Falls, who's always a WPIAL power, you scrimmaged them last week. You face defending state champions in Central Valley. Next week you have another non-conference game against Freeport, who they were top 5 and 3 in the preseason. So what does this do for your team when you face this tough competition in non-conference to get you guys ready for the conference schedule?
Well, you know, the good thing about non-conference is it gives you time to figure some things out, and we're, you know, which is good before you get into league play, and, you know, just it gives us time to work on things, kind of, you know, sharpen some things up, get guys some reps that we need to, you know, once we get into conference play here in a couple weeks, you know, have all the little things taken care of.
Last question for your game going into Freeport next week. I guess what are some of the keys, and what are you looking for in that matchup? Some things you have to improve on from this game to take into the game against Freeport next week.
You know, I think the one big thing offensively is controlling the line of scrimmage. We have to control the line of scrimmage if we want to run the ball, which is what we want to do. And even with pass protection, we didn't give Carson much time tonight. We had the guys knifing through and, you know, things. So maintaining and protecting the line of scrimmage is going to be the one big focus this coming week.
All right, thank you, Coach Mallory, and good luck next week.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, another special thank you to Knoch head coach Brandon Mowry. But I think that will just about do it for us up here, Adam. So for myself, Jake DeLuca, Colton Henderson, and Adam Morganti, we'll catch you next time. Make sure you stay locked on to High Top Sports Network. Follow us on social media and check out the website. We'll have a lot of great stuff coming this fall, so keep a lookout. Stories, interviews, you name it, we got it. So until next time, see you later.